Remember, kids, don't touch a unicorn or otherwise Tim Curry will rise out as the Lord of Darkness and wreck your shit. I'm John Retlin with a retro review of Legend, a Ridley Scott film, a fantasy film where actually I would call this one a bit of a lost classic. There were some annoying characters, no doubt, but it gets forgotten about, when you have The Princess Bride and Willow that came out after it that are considered, much higher up. And that actually is fair because both were better movies. But Legend actually featured Tom Cruise before he was incredibly annoying. And also Mia Sara, who fucking Christ was beautiful in this movie. And also Tim Curry as the devil. He was in major, red prosthetics with big old horns and a booming voice, and you just couldn't hide that it was Tim Curry under all that makeup. He has a very distinctive face and voice, and this is really when he had his legs under him for his career, and he was really stepping things up and really doing well. He would go on and play Pennywise and be in Congo. Remember Congo? You shouldn't remember that because it was pretty goddamn shit. The myth of the killer ape is true. I'm not even going to try to do the accent. But I like Tim Curry in a lot of his movies. And honestly, this movie, while not the most wholly original fantasy film, and really it's not a fantasy film unless you have a young couple using the power of love and friendship with their woodland friends to kill darkness. That is pretty much the lore of most fantasy movies. And this one is a whole lot of fun. You have Jack, played by Tom Cruise, and Lily, played by Mia Sara. Lily is a princess, but she loves Jack. Jack loves Lily. It's a tale as old as time. And there's also a lot of beasts in this. There's a beauty, but also a lot of beasts. And it's they kind of almost go a little bit overboard with how slimy they try to make the goblins. It must have been very uncomfortable for the actors. But Jack wants to show Lily, a couple of unicorns because she's got her head in the clouds, but she's well-intentioned, but she does the one thing you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to touch a unicorn. Apparently, that's just something you're not supposed to do, apparently, because then you alert these goblins that somehow are just absolutely everywhere. They poison one of the unicorns, cut off the horn, because said Lord of Darkness, played by Tim Curry, needs to get both horns to drop the world into eternal darkness and take over. And also he wants to wed Lily and turn her to his side so he can have an unholy bride, an unholy alliance, and he can just take over everything. And yeah, the plot's pretty goddamn simple. The nice thing about the Blu-ray is it does have the director's cut. It has the original version and the director's cut. Original version is about 90 minutes. Director's cut is just under 2 hours. And it is cool to see Ridley Scott's original vision. I will say that maybe the original cut is probably a better version, because director's cut, they did have a little bit of extra padding. There were a couple good scenes in it. You can watch both to compare and figure out the scenes. I'll leave that much up for you guys to decide. But the sets are actually pretty cool. I mean, it's, there's some really good outdoor locations. And yes, everything has a weird sparkly feel, like it's supposed to be all fancy-like. And it does feel like some of the snow scenes in particular are just like, weird, goofy sets. There's also this fairy character of Unya, who is essentially Navi from, that Zelda game Ocarina of Time. Hey, listen, Jack, listen. That's basically what she just should have been saying, and then he could have just been trying to swat at her like an annoying fly. And in this, after said unicorn gets touched and dispatched, that sounds a lot dirtier than I originally intended. Lily wants to try to make it right. She tries to, save the other unicorn. Goblins and elves help out Jack. Help him learn, how to use weapons. And how to fight back against the darkness. How to save the unicorn. He didn't mean for Lily to do that. He actually thought that Lily would be smarter. But being that she's a headstrong princess and just wants to just love everything, of course, in the course of loving everything, causes all this stuff. And then, what follows is a series of events. Jack learning to, Jack fighting through, various people, various creatures, and going on, a mystical quest to try and get basically a weapon to kill this darkness. And there are a lot of monologues from the darkness, the Lord of Darkness, Tim Curry, who does chew a lot of goddamn scenery in this. Once Mia Sara is his bride, and actually it's pretty funny how he tries to get her to do that. At one point, he has a dark version of Lily in a gown, dancing with her and everything, but she's covered up, so it's not quite the Spider-Man meme. And then they're dancing around, and she's in this dark gothic shit, but she still won't get to his side. He's like, come sit with me, help me kill the unicorn. She's like, no, wait, I'll stay on one condition, let me kill the unicorn. Okay, but you just said you wouldn't do it. But I'm going to believe you because I totally believe that you would actually do this and not screw me over. Also, I got a few questions. Despite the fact this was a director's cut and there was more stuff in it, where did all the extras come in? Because there was nobody there in some scenes, and just suddenly there are people in cloaks, other goblins, other stuff. There's this weird fight in the bowels of this castle where this one demonic guard is basically dispatched with a pot of boiling water. And there's some comedy, it doesn't quite work. There's the shirtless elf boy that helps out Jack that isn't. He's a very annoying character. It's not even that the actor's annoying, the character's very annoying, and Unya's very annoying as well. So it's by no means a great fantasy movie, but it is a whole lot of fun. More fun, more positives than negatives with this one. And what's nice about it, what's actually hilarious is they get all these giant, metal dishes / shields that they use to reflect sun from the top of a mountain down and, through this elaborate setup and everything, because only sunlight can kill the darkness. And that's why he wants to plunge the world into eternal darkness, so he doesn't just have to rule the night, he can rule the goddamn time, because it will be night. But they have it from the top of the mountain, and then down, and it bounces all through these in this extremely, elaborate and timed down to the frickin' nub, convoluted, setup, where the light keeps bouncing and then eventually fries him after Jack had stabbed him with the unicorn horn, which he needed to save. Thank God the unicorn horn fell out before Lord of Darkness just flowed out into goddamn space or flowed into, Eternal Dark, or wherever the fuck he floated to. Maybe he went to meet the Doom Marine. I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore. The movie's kind of silly. And as far as fantasy movies go, not wholly original, but still a whole lot of fun. Love does conquer all. Lily and Jack get together, and there we go. That's pretty much the end of it. Is it cheesy? Is it ridiculous? Yes. Are there some annoying characters? Yes. Has the movie aged well? Okay, look, there are some special effects that aren't going to age well, but it's very much of its time. It is an enjoyable movie. More enjoyable than most, and I'm going to give it a B. It's not as good as Willow. I may retro review Willow at some point, and the same with The Princess Bride, but still, Legend, I think, is forgotten, underappreciated flick. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.